How do you compare your group with the Beatles?
I don't know. How do you compare it with the Beatles? I don't compare it at all, you know, there's no point.
I want my news. I want to tell my sweetie. Hey, y'all come on news. Get back, Loretta.
Hey there. Welcome back to Rockin'Rollin. Yeah! Today we're diving into the legendary world of rock and roll, the Rolling Stones versus the Beatles. So, let's get started.
Everyone, let's get ready to go.
Watch it.
The Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Two giants of rock history, two bands with passionate fan bases, and a friendly rivalry that's spanned decades. In the world of rock and roll, where every note and lyric can ignite passion, it was an electric moment when Sir Paul McCartney cheekily labeled the Rolling Stones as nothing more than a blues cover band.
I wish somebody come along and run into it and wreck it, come on. Since me, my baby party, come on.
I find myself.
While fans and pundits alike were agog, awaiting a response, Mick Jagger, ever the showman, did not disappoint with his comeback. Jagger's retort was masterful, a blend of humor, pride, and a touch of that classic rock star swagger. Rather than taking offense, he celebrated the label, acknowledging the Stones' roots in blues while subtly reminding everyone of the astronomical success they achieved. The jestful invitation to McCartney to jam some blues was the cherry on top. Further highlighting the camaraderie these legends share despite their playful jabs. Mick Jagger jokes after the Beatles member Paul McCartney referred to the Rolling Stones as a blues cover band. Jagger shared video from his recent Los Angeles performance where he commented on all the celebrities in attendance. Megan Fox is here. She's lovely, Jagger said. Leonardo DiCaprio, Lady Gaga, Kirk Douglas. Paul McCartney is here. He's going to join us in a blues cover later.
Honey, it's not one of those.
Jagger wanted the world to know that he heard McCartney's recent blues cover band comment, since he posted his response directly to his Twitter page. A discussion with the New Yorker editor David Remnick ahead of Peter Jackson's Beatles documentary. McCartney had remarked of the Rolling Stones, "I'm not sure I should say it, but they're a blues cover band. That's sort of what the Stones are. I think our net was cast a bit wider than theirs." This isn't the first time McCartney had something to say about the Stones. The singer told Howard Stern that the Beatles were better than the Stones.
But I love the Stones, but I'm with you, the Beatles were better.
Later, Jagger responded to that statement on Apple Music's The Zane Lowe Show. Jagger and Richards went on Zane Lowe's Apple Music show to promote Rolling Stones' single, Living in a Ghost Town, which also gave them an opportunity to respond to Paul McCartney's recent claim that the Beatles were a better band than the Stones. The Stones are rooted in the blues, McCartney recently told Howard Stern. When they are writing stuff, it has to do with the blues. We had a little more influences. There's a lot of differences, and I love the Stones, but I'm with you. The Beatles were better.
The Beatles are better than the Rolling Stones. Am I correct?
They're great. I love them.
But
their
did
stuff's
it?
rooted in the blues.
Yes.
And so that when they're kind of writing stuff, it's to do with the blues, you know. Whereas we had a little more influences. I mean, Keith once said to me, he said, "Man, he said, you were lucky, man. You know, he said, you had 4 singers in your band. He said,
Right.
We got 1.
That's right.
So, you know, there's a lot of differences, but I love the Stones, but I'm with you, the Beatles were better."
This is part of a friendly rivalry that goes back nearly 60 years, and Jagger laughed when it came up.
Well, you know.
"That's so funny," he said. "He's a sweetheart. There's obviously no competition." Jagger did elaborate on what he saw as the big difference between the two bands.
You've heard of Oxford Circus, you've heard of Piccadilly Circus, and this is the Rolling Stones rock and roll.
The Rolling Stones is a big concert band in other decades and other areas, when the Beatles never even did an arena tour, Madison Square Garden with a decent sound system, he said. They broke up before that business started, the touring business for real.
And at the end, the final bulletin is that the Beatles have broken up.
You were talking about the business of the Beatles, and this to me is fascinating. When they break up, all right, and who knows who broke? You know, everyone has a theory.
I know.
Who broke it up?
John.
John did.
Yeah.
And he tried to pin it all on you.
No, I don't think anyone tried to pin it on it. It just came out that way.
Yeah, you got!
We started doing stadium gigs in the 70s and are still doing them now, he continued. That's the real big difference between these two bands. One band is unbelievably luckily still playing in stadiums, and then the other band doesn't exist. He didn't address McCartney's claim that the Stones copied Sgt. Pepper when they released their Satanic Majesty's Request.
Now,
We started to notice that whatever we did, the Stones sort of did it shortly thereafter, McCartney said. We went to America and we had huge success. Then the Stones went to America. We did Sgt. Pepper. The Stones did a psychedelic album. There's a lot of that.
We started to notice that whatever we did, the Stones sort of did it shortly thereafter. So, like, we went to America, and, you know, we had huge success. Well, then the Stones went to America, you know. And we did, like, Sgt. Pepper. The Stones did a sort of psychedelic album, you know.
Yes.
There was a lot of that.
It was a response that mirrored Jagger's career, bold, charismatic, and oozing with confidence.
I want my news. I want to tell my sweetie. Hey, y'all, come on, news.
The moment was more than just a rebuttal. It was a reminder of the deep-seated respect between two of rock's greatest institutions. It served to emphasize that even in rivalry, there's a mutual admiration underpinning their interactions. This back and forth not only entertained fans, but also showcased the enduring spirit of rock. It's more than just music. It's a living, breathing entity, constantly evolving, yet forever grounded in its roots, much like the Rolling Stones themselves. While Sir Paul McCartney's comment provided a stir in the rock community, Mick Jagger's reply was the embodiment of the Rolling Stones' ethos, always acknowledging the past, yet forever looking forward. It's moments like these that remind us why these legends still command the stage and our hearts.
There's the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, and then there's the Rolling Stones, and I guess we're just part of the furniture, you know?
So, as the world continues to debate, Stones or Beatles, one thing remains certain. You know, if being a blues cover band means selling out stadiums for 6 decades and still having the best fans in the world, then I wear that title with pride. Thanks for watching. Until next time, and keep on rolling.
He don't know if it's right or wrong. Maybe he should tell someone. He's not sure just what it was, or if it's against the law. Something